Ladies and gentlemen, every morning, the world awakens in ritual. Some rise with prayer, some rise with worry, and many rise with a cup of coffee in hand. Yet few understand that in that very cup lies the most sacred moment of power, a chance to command wealth into existence. For wealth is not born of chance, nor struggle, nor endless striving. Wealth is born of decree. The word you speak becomes the law of your day. And so, the coffee command is not about caffeine, it is about creation. Imagine, before you take that first sip, speaking these words with unwavering authority. This cup overflows with riches. Money finds me in expected and unexpected ways. I am a magnet for prosperity, and today, abundance obeys my command. Do you feel the shift? The liquid in your hand becomes more than a drink, it becomes a symbol of overflow. The aroma rising is no longer just fragrance, it is the fragrance of fortune. The warmth touching your lips is the warmth of opportunity rushing toward you. Let me tell you this, when you bless your coffee, you bless your day. When you command wealth at dawn, wealth races to obey before dusk, because the universe responds not to desperation, but to direction. So do not plead for riches, do not chase them in fear, instead command them in faith, say it, sip it, see it. The coffee command is the unseen password to overnight abundance. From this morning forward, let your coffee be your covenant with prosperity. Hold it high, decree with courage, and drink deeply of the life you choose, for wealth, like steam, rises the moment you speak. And remember this truth, your word is the wand, your cup is the altar, and your faith is the key that unlocks wealth overnight. Would you like me to also craft a shorter, punchier version, like a 2-minute speech that could be used for a video or stage opening? Every word spoken is more than a sound that disappears into the air. It is a command that shapes the unseen currents of life. Many believe words are casual, but the truth is that words are creative forces. They do not vanish once uttered. They take root in the invisible realm and return as experiences, opportunities, and manifestations. To understand that every word is a command is to realize that your mouth is not simply an instrument of speech. It is a tool of creation, a wand of power, and a decree that the universe must obey. When you rise in the morning and casually say, "I am so tired," or "Today will be difficult," you have issued a command. That command travels forth and begins weaving conditions that mirror your declaration. You may think it was harmless, but the law of life knows no difference between what you say in jest and what you say in earnest. Every word is a seed, and once planted, it grows according to its nature. If you sow words of weakness, you reap circumstances of weakness. If you sow words of strength and prosperity, you will harvest conditions that match. This is why the moment of holding your coffee becomes such a powerful ritual. That steaming cup in your hand is not just a beverage. It is a chalice, a sacred vessel waiting to be filled with words that create worlds. Before the first sip touches your lips, you have a choice. Will you pour complaints into your cup, or will you pour commands of abundance? The choice determines the flavor of your day, not just in taste but in destiny. Words are not wishes, they are decrees. A wish pleads, "I hope it happens." A command declares, "It is already done." The universe is structured to obey command, not doubt. The secret is authority. When you speak, you must speak as one who knows, not as one who guesses. Imagine a general in an army. If he gives a command hesitantly, the soldiers will falter. But when he speaks with absolute conviction, the entire force moves instantly to obey. Your words carry the same authority when spoken with faith. Think of the times you have spoken limitation over yourself. Perhaps you said, "I never have enough money," or "Things never work out for me." Those words did not merely describe your life, they constructed it. They sent forth instructions to bring about conditions that matched your decree, and life, ever obedient, followed. But when you awaken to the truth that you are the commander, not the victim, You can change the entire direction of your circumstances by changing the command of your words. When you lift your coffee in the morning and declare, "This day is overflowing with prosperity. Money comes to me with ease. Opportunities rush into my path. My life is rich with abundance," you have given a command. It may not appear instantly, but the moment the words leave your mouth, the law of creation sets them in motion. Like a seed beneath the soil, unseen but alive, the words begin shaping events, aligning people, and opening doors you never imagined. Some will say, "But I spoke positive words and nothing changed." That is because a true command requires belief. You cannot decree one thing while secretly expecting another. If a king issues a command but whispers to himself, perhaps no one will obey. His kingdom falls into disorder. Faith is the force that seals the word. When you speak with conviction, the unseen world recognizes the vibration of authority and rushes to bring it to pass. Every word you speak is like writing on the blueprint of your life. The question is, are you drawing a palace of abundance or a prison of lack? Too often, people sabotage themselves with careless speech. They say, "I can't afford it," not realizing they are cementing that truth into their experience. They say, "I am unlucky," not realizing they are commanding life to bring more misfortune. The law is impartial. It does not choose good or bad, wealth or poverty. It simply echoes what you command. The great turning point comes when you take ownership of your words and wield them consciously. This is the essence of the coffee command. It is not the coffee itself that holds power. It is the sacred pause before you sip, when your word can set the tone for your entire day. That brief moment is an altar where you can declare wealth, joy, health, and abundance, and the universe cannot help but obey. So, begin to notice the words you speak. Catch yourself when you complain, for each complaint is a command for more to complain about. Replace it with declarations of plenty. Instead of saying, "I'm always broke," say, "My life is filled with endless provision." Instead of saying, "I never get a chance," say, "Opportunities chase me down daily." Do this with conviction and watch the transformation unfold. The truth is undeniable. Every word is a command. Speak carelessly, and your life reflects chaos. Speak with intention, and your life reflects abundance. The coffee in your hand each morning is a reminder that you hold the power. Your words stir the universe like sugar in the cup, and the flavor you choose will determine the taste of your destiny. Would you like me to expand this same deep style for all 7 keynotes one by one, so you end up with a full book-like collection of teachings? A cup of coffee may appear to be nothing more than a daily ritual, a moment of comfort, or a spark of energy to begin the day. Yet in truth, that cup is far more than it seems. It is a vessel, a chalice of power, capable of carrying words, intentions, and vibrations into the very fabric of your life. The world is built upon symbols, and every object in your hand can become sacred when you assign it meaning. A cup is not simply ceramic or glass. It is a container of energy, and whatever you pour into it, whether liquid or language, flows into your experience. When you look at your morning coffee, you are not staring at a drink. You are staring at a mirror of your consciousness. If you approach it with idle thoughts or complaints, then it becomes a carrier of lack. If you approach it with gratitude, faith, and command, then it becomes infused with the very essence of prosperity. The coffee itself does not change, but your words change its vibration, and when you consume it, you are not merely drinking a beverage, you are ingesting your own decree. That is why the cup in your hand can be the chalice of wealth, the container of power that transforms an ordinary morning into a ritual of creation. Every great spiritual truth teaches that matter is pliable, subject to the energy of thought and speech. Water responds to intention, plants respond to words, and so too does your daily drink respond to the atmosphere you create around it. If you sit before your coffee sighing about bills, debt, and stress, You are pouring those frequencies into the cup, and you will drink back the very thing you fear. But if you take that same moment and fill the cup with declarations of abundance, speaking wealth, gratitude, and expectation of good, you are transforming an ordinary drink into a carrier of prosperity. The power is not in the coffee but in your consciousness, and the coffee is the symbol through which your consciousness is magnified. Consider how rituals have shaped civilizations. Bread has been broken in ceremonies, wine has been lifted in blessings, and water has been poured in sacred acts. Each simple element became holy because intention made it so. In the same way, your coffee becomes holy when you infuse it with the command of wealth. It becomes a modern ritual, a sacred act of speaking abundance into a daily practice that millions perform without thought. The cup is a chalice of power because it holds more than liquid, it holds vibration. Your words spoken over it vibrate through the steam, the heat, and the scent, and those vibrations do not vanish. They become impressed upon your subconscious mind. When you drink, you are drinking your own command. Imagine sipping faith instead of fear, prosperity instead of poverty, joy instead of complaint. Every swallow then becomes an act of agreement with abundance. Your body, mind, and spirit align with the decree you placed into the cup. It is often said that small hinges swing big doors. In the same way, small rituals unlock great changes. The coffee command may seem small, but when practiced daily, it rewires your mind to expect abundance. That expectation is the magnet of manifestation. Life mirrors your inner atmosphere, and if your mornings begin with a cup of faith-filled decree, your days will unfold with opportunities that match the vibration. The cup then is not empty. It is overflowing with invisible wealth, waiting to manifest into visible form. Many treat their coffee as routine, but routine without intention is wasted power. What if instead you paused each morning, held the cup with reverence, and declared, "This chalice carries my wealth. Every sip fills me with opportunity. My life overflows with riches. Doors open before me with ease." Such words do not vanish into air. They saturate the moment, charge the cup, and then return to you multiplied. You would no longer be drinking only coffee. You would be drinking your destiny. The greatest error is to underestimate the simple. People believe wealth must come through struggle, through complex plans and endless toil. Yet the simple act of blessing your cup can align your energy with abundance far faster than worry ever could. Because the cup is always present, every morning it calls to you, asking, "What will you pour into me today? Will it be fear or will it be faith?" The choice is yours, and the outcome follows the choice unfailingly. The cup in your hand is an altar, and you are the priest declaring what shall fill it. When you realize this, every morning drink becomes a sacred ritual of wealth. You are no longer a passive consumer of coffee. You are an active creator of abundance. You command, you bless, you drink, and you embody the decree. The chalice of power transforms the mundane into the miraculous, and what began as a simple cup of coffee becomes the very vessel through which wealth flows into your life, silently but surely, sip by sip. Would you like me to continue this same 700-word mystical explanation style for point 3 as well? To command is to stand in the authority of creation, while to beg is to shrink into the posture of lack. The difference may appear subtle in words, yet in energy, it is vast as the distance between the sun and the shadows. Begging says, "I do not have, I cannot have unless something outside grants it to me." Commanding declares, "It is mine by divine right, and I call it forth now." One speaks from weakness, the other from strength. One attracts delay, the other summons manifestation. This is the law of life, that what you command with authority must take form, while what you beg for slips further away. When you hold your coffee each morning, you face a choice of voice. Will you speak as one desperate, pleading for fortune to notice you, or will you speak as one who knows wealth is already his and is simply calling it into visible expression? To beg is to hand away your power, to reduce yourself to a servant of circumstance. To command is to stand as the master of circumstance, knowing that the universe is responsive to your decree. The power of wealth does not lie in hoping, pleading, or asking timidly. It lies in the fiery certainty that your word carries the force of law. Imagine a king upon his throne. Does he beg his subjects to obey him? Does he whisper, "Please, may I have loyalty"? No, he commands. He speaks with conviction, and his word is carried out because his authority is recognized. Likewise, the universe is your kingdom. Your words are the decrees of a sovereign. If you beg for prosperity, you confess you do not truly believe in your throne. But when you command wealth to appear, without doubt, without apology, you align yourself with the authority that has been yours all along. To command is not arrogance, it is alignment. Begging suggests you are separate from the source of supply, while commanding acknowledges you are one with it. When you command, you do not demand of life something unnatural. You call forth what already belongs to you. You do not wrestle it from the universe. You unlock what was waiting for you to claim. To beg is to act like an orphan in a house that is already yours. To command is to walk into the inheritance with confidence, knowing it could never be denied. Each morning, as the aroma of your coffee rises, so too should the fragrance of authority rise in your words. Instead of whispering timid requests, speak boldly. Today, wealth obeys my word. Prosperity flows in expected and unexpected ways. I command doors of opportunity to open before me. I declare success, and success appears. These are not the words of one who begs. They are the decrees of one who knows. And when spoken with faith, they release a vibration that the universe rushes to honor. The reason begging fails is because it vibrates with lack. When you plead, you are declaring that you do not yet have, and life mirrors back more not having. The reason commanding succeeds is because it vibrates with possession. You speak as though it is already yours, and life mirrors back the fullness of that vibration. Begging shuts the door, commanding opens it wide. This is why those who continually ask when remain waiting, while those who declare now see results unfold. Consider the difference in energy when a person says, "I hope money comes to me," compared to "money flows to me with ease." The first is weak, uncertain, and filled with longing. The second is bold, certain, and filled with expectancy. The universe does not respond to weakness, it responds to certainty. Faith is the substance that undergirds a command, and when you speak in faith, you speak in the language of creation itself. Some resist the idea of commanding, thinking it is too bold or presumptuous. But the truth is, life honors the bold, not the hesitant. Commanding does not mean shouting, nor does it mean arrogance. It is the calm authority of one who knows the law. When you command, you are not trying to convince the universe. You are convincing yourself of your own rightful power. And once your inner conviction is firm, the outer world rearranges to match it. The coffee command each morning becomes a practice ground for this authority. The cup in your hand is the microphone through which you address the unseen forces. Speak weakly and nothing stirs. Speak boldly and watch the invisible armies move to align with your decree. Your coffee becomes a daily reminder not to beg for scraps but to command your feast. The fragrance rising from the cup becomes the fragrance of victory because you have chosen to speak as a sovereign, not a servant. To beg is to live in delay. To command is to live in immediacy. Begging pushes the good into the future, someday, somehow. Commanding pulls the good into the present, here, now, today. Begging is powered by fear, while commanding is powered by faith, and the law of life is clear. Fear multiplies lack, while faith multiplies abundance. Therefore, the wise choose to command, for it is the key that unlocks wealth with speed and certainty. So, each morning as you lift your cup, remember this truth: You were never born to beg, you were born to command. Do not whisper timid requests to the universe. Speak bold decrees as its co-creator. Command wealth, and wealth will obey. Command opportunity, and opportunity will appear. Command abundance, and abundance will rush to fill your life. For your word is law, and the law bends not to pleading, but to command. Do you want me to continue and prepare? Point 4 in the same 700-word deep flow style, so it becomes a seamless continuation of this series. Imagination is the womb of creation. Before anything can exist in the physical world, it must first be born in the unseen realm of thought and vision. Every great invention, every magnificent building, every fortune ever amassed began first as a picture in the imagination of a human being. To sip your coffee while carrying the image of poverty, struggle, and lack is to program your day with scarcity. But to sip while holding a vivid, radiant picture of abundance is to set in motion the law that brings invisible ideas into visible form. Imagination ignites manifestation because it is the bridge between the spiritual and the material, the inner and the outer, the unseen and the seen. When you imagine, you are not merely daydreaming, you are rehearsing reality. The mind cannot tell the difference between an imagined experience and a physical one, so it begins to organize circumstances to reflect the image it has been given. This is why the command spoken over your coffee is most powerful when it is accompanied by imagination. Words shape the vibration, but imagination paints the picture. Together they form the blueprint that the universe must follow. As you lift your cup each morning, do not simply say, "I am wealthy." See it. See yourself walking into a home filled with beauty, your bank account overflowing with numbers, your hands counting money with ease. Feel the joy of success as though it is already yours. See the opportunities arriving, the doors opening, the life of freedom unfolding. As you sip, let that picture saturate your mind until you can taste it more strongly than the coffee itself. The stronger the picture, the faster the manifestation, because imagination charges your command with emotional power. Imagination is the fire. Without it, words are often flat and lifeless. You may declare prosperity, but if you still see yourself poor in your inner vision, your command lacks force. Yet when you speak and see at the same time, you align thought, word, and image. This trinity becomes unstoppable. It is like planting a seed in soil, watering it, and shining sunlight upon it all at once. Growth becomes inevitable. Consider the childlike imagination you once had. As a child, you could turn a cardboard box into a castle, a stick into a sword, a backyard into a kingdom. You believed so strongly in your vision that it became real in your experience. That same power has never left you. It only lies dormant until you awaken it. When you return to the practice of imagining abundance with the innocence of a child and the conviction of an adult, life bends to match your inner movie. The error many make is that they imagine the wrong pictures. They see bills piling up, they picture failure, they rehearse conversations of defeat. Then they wonder why these very conditions show up in reality. The law is impartial. It brings forth what you imagine most vividly, whether wanted or unwanted. To worry is to imagine the very thing you fear, and worry manifests with precision. To prosper, you must replace those images with visions of wealth. Imagination is the switch that determines whether you manifest abundance or scarcity. When you sip your coffee, let it become a sacred screen upon which you project your desired future. As the steam rises, see it carrying your vision upward into the unseen. As the warmth touches your lips, feel it as the warmth of abundance already present. As you swallow, imagine you are drinking wealth into your very being. Each sip becomes a rehearsal of the reality you have chosen, and the more you rehearse, the sooner it appears on the stage of life. Imagination is not fantasy, it is rehearsal for manifestation. Fantasy is idle, imagination with faith is creative. When you imagine while commanding, you are no longer playing with thoughts. You are constructing reality. The invisible architect of life takes your mental picture as instruction and begins to draw circumstances to bring it into form. This is why those who dare to see beyond their present condition rise to heights others only dream of. They dared to hold the vision long enough for reality to catch up. Your imagination is the paintbrush, your words are the colors, and your coffee ritual is the canvas. Each morning, you are painting your day before it begins. If the picture is dull, your day will reflect dullness. If the picture is radiant, your day will shine with opportunity. Therefore, let your imagination be bold. Do not shrink your vision to match your current condition. Expand it to match your divine potential. See wealth beyond your present numbers. See success beyond your present situation, and life will rearrange to fit the larger picture. Remember this truth: imagination ignites manifestation. Without imagination, your command is weak. With imagination, your command is a flame. And when the fire of imagination burns brightly, nothing can stop the form from appearing. Each morning, as you sip your coffee, do not merely drink, dream. Do not merely hope, see. Do not merely say, imagine. For the world you see within is the world you will live without, and the cup in your hand is the doorway to make it real. Would you like me to continue and unfold point 5 in the same flowing 700 word form so you'll have a full series ready for publishing? Faith is the substance that turns invisible thought into visible form, the unseen current that moves mountains where effort alone would stumble. Human beings have been conditioned to believe that only hard labor creates wealth, that sweat and struggle are the only paths to abundance. Yet how many toil endlessly without ever tasting prosperity? How many push with all their might and find themselves still standing in the same place, weary but unrewarded? It is because effort without faith is like rowing a boat without water. No matter how hard you row, the boat does not move. Faith, however, is the tide that lifts the boat and carries it swiftly to its destination. One bold word spoken in faith can open doors that years of effort could never unlock. When you sit with your coffee in the quiet of morning, you may believe that nothing is happening as you speak your words of abundance. After all, you are simply sitting, sipping, imagining. Yet this act of faith carries more force than frantic hours of worry-driven effort. Faith is faster than effort because faith works in the realm of cause, while effort often struggles with effect. The unseen world always precedes the seen. To labor endlessly in the outer world without aligning the inner is like polishing a mirror without cleaning the reflection. But when faith aligns the inner picture with certainty, the outer world rushes to obey. Effort is important, yes, but effort without faith is like building on sand. You may stack bricks high, but without a solid foundation, they tumble. Faith is the foundation, and once it is set, even small actions produce mighty results. Consider how many have strived for years to build fortune, only to see another, with one inspired move, achieve it almost overnight. It was not luck, but faith. Faith positioned them where effort alone could not. When you declare wealth over your coffee with faith, you create a vibration that attracts opportunity. Faith has a fragrance, a tone, a frequency that the world recognizes. People sense it, doors open to it, circumstances bend toward it. Those who move in faith often find themselves in the right place at the right time, meeting the right person, discovering the right idea. This alignment is not coincidence. It is the magnetic pull of faith at work. Effort without faith tries to force doors open. Faith allows them to swing wide effortlessly. It is not that faith removes the need for action, but faith makes action inspired instead of desperate. Faith turns effort into joy, not struggle. A person without faith digs the ground with weary hands, hoping for treasure. A person with faith is guided to the very spot where treasure lies buried, and their labor yields riches quickly. Faith shortens the path, multiplies the harvest and makes what seems impossible effortless. Each sip of your morning coffee can be a reminder of this truth. As you drink, tell yourself, faith does the heavy lifting. I do not toil for wealth. I attract it by belief. My actions are guided and easy, and doors open swiftly before me. Such words, when spoken in true faith, set in motion currents invisible to the eye but undeniable in effect. Soon, the opportunities appear, the phone call comes, the money arrives. What others spend years chasing, faith draws to you in moments. The reason faith is faster than effort lies in its alignment with the higher law. Effort depends on human limitation, time, energy, physical strength. Faith draws from the infinite, which knows no limits. Effort can move stones. Faith can move mountains. Effort is bound by hours. Faith collapses time. What you believe with conviction today can manifest tomorrow, because faith compresses distance between desire and fulfillment. Many resist this truth because they have been taught that only struggle makes one worthy. But the universe does not reward suffering, it rewards alignment. Struggle without faith is wasted motion, while faith, even with little struggle, produces abundance. Wealth is not given as a prize for exhaustion. It is given as the natural response to belief. And so, when you command over your coffee, do not think of how hard you must work today to make it happen. Instead, rest in faith that it is already happening, and let your actions be guided with ease. Faith also frees you from fear. Fear pushes people to work harder, as though effort can compensate for doubt. But fear attracts the very things one dreads. Faith replaces that fear with certainty, and certainty draws abundance without resistance. To move in faith is to move in flow, and flow always carries you faster than force. So tomorrow morning, as you hold your cup, remember, the strength of your arm is nothing compared to the strength of your belief. Effort may sweat, but faith commands. Effort may crawl, but faith flies. Effort may wait for years, but faith manifests overnight. Place your faith in the unseen, speak boldly as though it is already yours, and let the universe rush to prove you right. For one word of faith carries more speed than a lifetime of struggle, and it is faith, not effort, that unlocks wealth in its swiftest form. Do you want me to continue with point 6 in this same 700-word inspirational depth, so the whole series grows into a book-style flow? Gratitude is the secret multiplier of life, the hidden current that takes what you have and expands it beyond measure. Many chase wealth with restless energy, always looking outward for what they lack, never realizing that the key to increase lies in blessing what already exists. Gratitude is not passive thankfulness. It is an active force, a magnetic frequency that draws more of what is acknowledged. When you bless your cup of coffee with thanksgiving, you are not merely being polite to the universe. You are releasing a power that multiplies everything in your experience. A heart that complains closes the door to abundance, while a heart that gives thanks opens the floodgates. Complaint says, I do not have enough. Gratitude says, I am overflowing already. Life always echoes what it hears. If you whisper lack, it delivers lack. If you declare thanks, it delivers more reasons to give thanks. This is why two people can face the same situation. One sees only what is missing and spirals deeper into scarcity, while the other sees what is present and climbs into prosperity. Gratitude determines the difference. Each morning, as you cradle your coffee, you are holding more than a drink. You are holding a symbol of provision. Think of the countless steps that brought it to your hand, the soil that grew the beans, the rain that watered them, the farmer who harvested, the workers who packaged, the hands that transported, the shops that sold, the tools that brewed, and the moment it reaches you. An entire chain of abundance worked together so you could hold that single cup. To recognize this is to awaken to the truth. You are surrounded by supply, supported by forces you rarely notice. Gratitude tunes your eyes to see these miracles and prepares you to receive even greater ones. When you bless your cup with thanksgiving, you charge it with the vibration of increase. To say, I am grateful for this coffee, for this moment, for this day, is to declare that life is already rich. And when life hears such a declaration, it responds by multiplying. A thankful sip carries more power than a desperate command, because gratitude aligns you with the rhythm of the universe. It says, I already possess, therefore I attract more. The cup becomes a chalice not of lack, but of overflow. Gratitude transforms even the smallest things into treasures. A person who complains may drink the finest coffee and still feel empty. A person who blesses their humble cup may feel as though they are drinking from a golden chalice. The difference is not in the liquid but in the lens. Gratitude polishes the lens of perception until everything glows with abundance, and perception shapes reality. When you see wealth in what you have, wealth grows around you. When you only see lack, lack multiplies to match. Many believe gratitude should be reserved for the arrival of great blessings, but this is a mistake. The great blessings come because of gratitude for the small ones. A farmer does not wait for the full harvest to celebrate. He gives thanks for the seed in the soil, knowing that thanks draws the harvest faster. In the same way, your gratitude for the coffee in your hand, the roof above your head, the opportunities before you, becomes the magnet that pulls greater riches into your world. Begin your mornings not with complaint about what is missing, but with thanks for what is present. Say, thank you for this day, thank you for this breath, thank you for this abundance already flowing. Drink your coffee with thanksgiving and let that gratitude spill over into your words, your actions, your vision. Each sip becomes an affirmation. I live in a universe that provides. I live in a life that overflows. The more you repeat this, the more the law of increase takes hold, multiplying your blessings in ways that appear almost miraculous. Gratitude also dissolves fear. A fearful heart focuses on what might be lost, but a grateful heart focuses on what cannot be taken away. Fear paralyzes, gratitude energizes. Fear contracts, gratitude expands. When you choose gratitude, you step into a state where opportunities reveal themselves, ideas flow easily, and wealth finds its way to you. Because gratitude is not just an emotion, it is a signal sent into the universe declaring, I am ready for more. Even in moments when life feels difficult, gratitude is the alchemy that transforms struggle into stepping stones. To say, thank you for the lesson, thank you for the growth, thank you for the unseen good already unfolding, is to turn trials into treasures. Life honors such a spirit by rewarding it with abundance. Complaints keep you bound to the problem. Gratitude lifts you into the solution. So tomorrow morning, when you lift your coffee, bless it. Bless the day. Bless your wealth, whether it has appeared in full or is still on its way. Say, I am grateful for the riches I see, and grateful for the riches that are unfolding. Let gratitude saturate every word, every sip, every thought. For gratitude multiplies whatever it touches, and when your mornings are drenched in thanksgiving, your life cannot help but overflow with wealth beyond measure. Shall I move on and unfold point 7 in the same 700-word flow, so your entire 7-point collection is complete? The morning is the seed time of the day, the sacred threshold where thought becomes destiny. What you speak in the first hour sets the vibration for every moment that follows. The words uttered at sunrise do not vanish into the air. They take root in the soil of consciousness and grow into the fruit you will harvest by nightfall. To command wealth in the morning is to plant golden seeds that the hours ahead cannot help but multiply. The morning word shapes the day, because the day is a faithful servant to the decree of dawn. Most people rise from sleep and unconsciously begin their day with words of complaint or worry. They say, I am so tired, I have too much to do, I don't know how I will manage. With these words, they unknowingly program their hours for exhaustion, burden, and confusion. Life, being obedient, mirrors back the script they have written, but the one who understands the power of the morning knows better. The wise rise with intention. They look at the new day not as a continuation of struggle, but as a blank canvas waiting for the strokes of their command. They speak with authority. This is a day of wealth, of joy, of opportunity. This is a day that serves me and blesses me. And because they decree it, the day is compelled to obey. The morning is the opening note of the symphony. If it begins in harmony, the music flows sweetly until the end. If it begins in discord, the entire song struggles to recover. This is why the coffee command is so potent. The act of holding a cup in your hands becomes a ritual of alignment. As the aroma rises, so does your awareness. As the warmth touches your lips, so does faith awaken. In that moment, as you declare abundance, you set the tone for the entire day. It is not the coffee that carries the power. It is the word spoken with conviction at the gateway of morning. Imagine two individuals starting their day. One rushes into it without thought, burdened by yesterday's problems, muttering complaints as they sip their drink. The other pauses, lifts their cup with reverence, and speaks boldly. This day delivers prosperity. Money flows to me easily. Opportunities chase me down. I walk in favor and wealth today. Both individuals step into the same world, but their experiences will be vastly different. The first will find the hours filled with obstacles and disappointments. The second will discover unexpected blessings, doors opening, and circumstances aligning in their favor. The difference lies not in fate, but in the morning decree. The mind is most receptive upon waking, for it has not yet been crowded with the noise of the day. The subconscious is open, pliable, and eager to receive instruction. What you feed it at dawn becomes the marching orders it carries out for the next 16 hours. To speak wealth in the morning is to program the subconscious to notice opportunities, attract resources, and align with abundance. Even before you take your first steps out the door, you have already shaped the path you will walk. This is why the morning word is so much faster and more powerful than words spoken later. At midday, the mind is cluttered with distractions, doubts, and reactions to events. But in the morning, the canvas is clean. The word spoken then is like writing in wet cement. It sets quickly and becomes the structure of the day. Therefore, guard the words of your morning as you would guard treasure. Refuse to let complaint or fear enter your first speech. Begin only with declarations of prosperity, health, joy, and victory. To make this practice real, consider your coffee cup as your morning altar. As you hold it, imagine it glowing with the light of abundance. Speak into it as though you are programming the very atmosphere of your day. Say, "This day overflows with wealth. I command opportunities to rise. I command favor to go before me. I command money to flow to me with ease." Speak it, sip it, and seal it into your being. As you drink, feel as though you are drinking in your own words, letting them sink deep into your spirit. The hours that follow cannot help but align with the decree you have ingested. The morning word shapes the day, but it also shapes the future. Each day built on declarations of wealth becomes a week of abundance. Each week becomes a month of prosperity. Each month becomes a year of overflow. Soon, your entire life reflects the power of words spoken faithfully at dawn. What begins as a daily practice becomes a lifestyle, and wealth becomes not just an event, but a permanent condition. So tomorrow, when you wake, remember, you hold the pen that writes the story of your day. Do not write complaints into the script. Do not let fear write the lines for you. Take your coffee in hand, speak with boldness, and set the tone of abundance. For the morning word is not a whisper into the void. It is a command that heaven and earth rush to fulfill. And when you master the word of dawn, you master the wealth of the day. Would you like me to now weave all 7 expanded points into a single flowing manuscript, almost like a book or guide, that could be published as the coffee command that unlocks wealth overnight?